This could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose. But when you talk to me, give me the impression that I won't scratch your surface. And I could walk for days, searching for your praise. Is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to win your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how.
Broad spectrum of tech, artificial intelligence, related digital marketing, cybersecurity, data analytics. Think of all the different branches that kind of intertwine as well. Now, the other host for today is Oliver.
Hello everyone, my name is Ulomo Kenyi. I'm a senior software engineer at Everflow Utilities. So the purpose of today's event is for us to come together as tech enthusiasts, business leaders, startup founders, to network with each other, most importantly, support each other on how to use technology to unlock global opportunities. Just like Balvin said, today's event is properly structured. We will have speeches from our keynote speakers, Andy and Nikki. We will have panel sessions, we'll have pitch presentations, we'll have networking sessions and award presentation. The most important thing is that today we're going to have a productive day and we're going to have fun. Thank you.
So, the first keynote speaker for today is Nikki Webb. Ladies and gentlemen, Nikki Webb, Channel Director of Custodian 360, which is a managed security service provider. Nikki is also part of the MSSP Cyber House Party Group. Recently, she became an Oxy Cyber Ambassador for Reddit, reflecting her commitment to innovation and inclusivity in cybersecurity. Nikki actively mentors aspiring professionals, contributing to the community through initiatives like Caps Lock and Women in Cybersecurity. Please join me in welcoming Nikki Webb to the stage.
I'll shout. So I'm Nikki Webb, thank you for the introduction and thank you for having me today. I'm a global channel manager, as we just discussed. It's a fancy job title. Basically, I look after our partners at Custodian 360. I make sure that they have all of the security solutions that their customers could ever need. We pull them all together and we provide them. And then the team that sit behind me, they provide a managed service behind it. There's a few other things that I do. I'm a UK ambassador for a charity called the Cyber Helpline. My good friend Catchy at the back there is one of the volunteers there. We look after individuals that are victims of cybercrime in the UK, from age 13 upwards. Great organisation. If you're looking to get sort of something on your CV for volunteering, we're always looking for volunteers as responders. I also co-founded an initiative called the Cyber House Party. It was a good excuse during lockdown for us to get together and DJ online and have a few beers. It's kind of grown as we came out of lockdown. Conferences started to come to us, and we now do them, all across the country. Great networking events if you get a chance to come to one. A lot of my work around mentoring came from a company called Caps Lock. Has anybody here done the Caps Lock boot camp at all? Great initiative to get involved in with, and you don't actually have to do the boot camp to come into the mentoring program. So I'm one of their lead mentors. I take groups, tutor groups of 12 people, and I help them with things like their CV, their positioning, raising their personal branding, and helping them with preparation for job interviews, and things like that. And I absolutely love doing it. So, it's all about the technology and the solutions that we're working with, and it's really not. It's probably the biggest lesson I've learned since being in the industry. It's about the people behind the technology and the solutions. You know, if you walk into any security team, you can have a real varied, broad varied spectrum of people within that team. Each of them play a really important role though within that security team. When there's an incident, like for example me, I'm one of those panickers. You know, the slightest thing goes wrong, the house is on fire, I run around screaming, the kids run for cover. I would be no good in instant response. I would be everybody's worst nightmare. But you do need those people that are constantly on high alert and worry about stuff all the time. But you need the other end of the spectrum as well. You need people that stay really calm. One of the big things that I do a lot of work with, I suppose, in cybersecurity is mental health. Do a lot of workshops, I do a lot of talks on it. Our security teams, I mean, has anybody here been involved in quite an intense incident at work involving technology or cybersecurity? So we see, and we saw it a lot during lockdown, and we've seen it, most recently we've seen it with CrowdStrike. A really good friend of mine was in their incident response team with the big blue screen thing last year. They worked intensely for nearly a week. They had no breaks, they didn't see their family, they didn't go home, they were literally focused on that. The upshot of that is his team have lost 50% of them since last year. 3 are signed off long-term on mental health. My friend himself has left the company because he was so disillusioned with the lack of support that he had from his company afterwards. What they've been through was huge. My friend was contacted through LinkedIn and abused by journalists and by members of the public. They threatened his family, they threatened his children. They found his address, they basically doxed him. They found his address. There was no support for him at all. So I'm a huge advocate for mental health and it actually being taken seriously and not just being a buzzword. It's not something that we just want to see a tick on a company's website. Actually proactively look after your tech teams and your security teams. They're important. And the community initiative side that I do a lot of, and Andy will probably, if he was going to say things that I probably do take too much on, it's because it's really important to me. I don't want to see anybody in this room leave the industry because they don't feel supported, they don't have their own sort of network around them. And that's kind of, I think, why, I hope it's why, I was asked to speak today, because networking isn't something that ever came easily to me. It made me feel physically sick. I didn't like it. I didn't like talking to people. I felt that everybody was looking at me and I felt really uncomfortable. It's not something that I still overly enjoy, but coming here today, I felt sick the whole way here on the train so I had to talk to all of you. Now I'm here, it's fine, and I'm doing it and it's fine, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's my comfort zone, but I'm making myself do it, because if it means that just one person in this room leaves and thinks, do you know what, I can go networking this week, I can go to that women's breakfast, I can go to that lunch, I can do all of those things, because if Nick can do it, I can do it, then it's worth me standing here doing it. And I think the other thing really about my journey, I've had to learn to adapt. I'm very much, if I'm doing something, I'm focused, I'm on one road and that's it. That's not the way cybersecurity works, it really isn't. You're literally throwing curveballs all the time. So whereas sort of 5 years ago I would have had a meltdown over it, now I just roll with it. And if it means that I have to go and do something else and come back to that and give us some extra time tonight, then that's what I do. I can only talk about my challenges. I think we have a lot of emphasis put on women's groups and cybersecurity. I'm not a huge fan of it because I think it segregates us. I think we're people in cybersecurity. We're not women. We're not men. It should just be people. But my sort of challenges have been being heard. I'm not technical, so people don't particularly take me seriously. And I also think as well that I can be misunderstood, I suppose, because I wouldn't stand up for myself. So if somebody told me something was wrong, even if I knew it was right, I would just say, yeah, okay, that's fine. Joey, whatever. Programs, BT is one that's running one, and they're about to open up entrance at the moment. I think it's really important to have a look around. SANS is another one. There's another slide in a minute which has got lots of different initiatives listed on it. But when you're looking to come in, there are definitely barriers. Don't get me wrong, there are barriers because of the sponsorship element. But go and have a look at the accelerator programs. The NCSC and the UK Cyber Council, they've got some great programs that you can enrol in, and they're there to help you. They will find the right employers for you, but they will help you on your journey. And my experience with them through the Capstop bootcamp, their success rate's great. And they've continued to support them through their journey, and they support with everything as well, and that includes funding, helping with housing, things like that if you've got to relocate for your work. So there's going to be a slide in a minute which has got some, actually might as well put it on there now. Go to the next one, because they all offer acceleration schemes that are specifically designed for foreign nationals who are looking for visa sponsorship or to come and work here in the UK. Cybersecurity, there's a huge skills gap. you can argue that there's lots of jobs and there's lots of people out of work, but it's specifically these acceleration programs, those jobs are already there and waiting to be taken. And I'm fairly sure it was the UK Cybersecurity Council one. Last year they only had 50% uptake. So that was 50% of the places and money just rolled over like to this year because nobody took it. And I do think that's a problem. I don't think it's signposted enough, and I don't think people know where to go to look for these resources. So another thing I wanted to say on this is, obviously my name's up on the board there and my company. Any of you in the room that want to connect with me, that want an introduction or want the actual links to it, then please, do it, because they're there to be used, to use them. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today, which is kind of the theme around pitching and connecting. Networking is everything in this industry, and the most important thing for me, and the thing that keeps me sane every day, is finding your tribe in the industry. I'm really fortunate. I've got an amazing tribe, and I wouldn't have got through lockdown with them. I wouldn't get through my daily breakdowns without them. I wouldn't get to half my events without them because I'm really crap with maps, so I have to ring them. Like today, I was at the wrong university. But just find your people, and it's just normal to me. Everyone expects it. It's fine. But just find your people and use those people to go out and network with. I had a look when I was putting this particular slide together the other day. And in London, this week just gone, there was a cybersecurity or tech networking event, all free, every single evening this week, and there was 2 lunches. So if you look for your local area, and like a good place to start is Eventbrite, so you put in there cybersecurity, and for me I put in Reading, there are so many networking events that come up, and it genuinely is about building your brand. And just go and be yourself. And even if you're uncomfortable, there will be people in the room that are extroverts who come charging over to you and they make you talk, which I don't know, I find really uncomfortable. But it works and it gets your name out there. And it means that you build not just a tribe like this, friends, so to speak, but for your work as well. You've got a whole resource of people that you can go to, and you can ask questions. You can think, hang on a minute, that person was talking about that at that event I went to the other month. Let me just drop them a message on LinkedIn, and they will answer you. So, I just wanted. The networking thing is really, really important, and you need to look for them. So this is my last slide. It's a little bit cheesy. I felt quite cheesy writing it, and I rewrote it twice, but it still made me feel a bit cheesy. Everything about cybersecurity is about community, and our teams, even if you go and work for a company and you're the only cybersecurity person there, you will still find that you will pull from your community for resources. Everything that we do is collaborative, and that is the only way, and I genuinely believe this, that we're ever going to win against cybercrime, is if we all work together. And that doesn't matter if you're a vendor, you're an end user, it doesn't matter who you are, community is everything. And the last little bit I want to type on that, about community, you've got B-sides. If any of you want to do this, it's really uncomfortable and I don't advise it, but anyway. You can do things like rookie tracks, and you can go and learn how to keynote speak. They teach you, they guide you. It's all free. Do you know what I mean? All you've got to do is write down a paragraph of your idea of what you want to talk about on the day, and catchy, you spoke, didn't you, for the first time in London. They will guide you through it all. They will give you coaching lessons on how to speak, what not to speak, how to put the slides together, how to present, all of those things. And then it's just free resources. And I think that is me. And I'm bang on time as well. I don't have any background in cybersecurity at all. Mine was very much luck. Luck, and maybe a bit of blagging. Networking, and genuinely, have you done any courses at all?
No, really, with cybersecurity directly.
No, networking, have a look at Caps Lock. We're just releasing it the 1st of April. The next sort of funded places come out, so you can apply for that. The BT scheme that I said about, they also do a newcomer, new people that have no background at all in cybersecurity. They take you on, they pay for it, you do an intensive 6-month boot camp. But networking, literally networking. And also, it's a free night out, free wine, free food, and great people. Do you know what I mean?
Can I add to that one?
Yeah.
Because I've got some information. The cybersecurity-based PAE systems, they're actually running something called Cybersecurity Basics. Okay. And so you get accredited after doing, and it's all free. They're doing that in conjunction with Lancaster University, and Manchester University. So if you Google that, I have some information anyway. I'm actually one of the speakers. So you can have that information from me. Thank you.
Fantastic. What I'll do is I will get over.
A few months background on information security in Nigeria, in Africa, and coming to the UK, I went to the university. I did my master's, and along the line, I took the ISO 27001 certification, and then I did just a few projects with a few people and all of that. So, but I'm yet to get into core cybersecurity in the UK. So how do I break in? I already have a certification. I have the ISO 27001 certification. So just want to break in. How do I?
It's a tough one, and it's like what I said, firstly building your personal brand, right? I don't care what anyone says, as much as it's uncomfortable, and I said earlier, I don't find it comfortable. Get yourself out there, networking, start blogging. You know, you already know your stuff, you just said that. Start blogging about it, write, you know, it's not writing stories, but talk about things that you've done. Have a play around with, I don't know, hack the box, things like that. Have a play around with those kind of things, and then write yourself almost like, you know, like a module, if you like, of what you've done. And keep posting that on LinkedIn. And then while you're posting that, the people that you're meeting at networking, start tagging them in it. And suddenly your name becomes the top of everybody's algorithm. And then if you've got your open to work banner on your LinkedIn, in your bio at the top, really sell yourself. Do you know what I mean? You've got like, I think it's 200 words there at the top of your LinkedIn, underneath your name. Yeah, that is your brand there. Really sell yourself. Say what you're looking for. Don't say what you're not looking for, exactly. But yeah, say what you're looking for. And the other great thing as well, and I do believe this, is like on your CV, nothing that's better than volunteering your time. And that doesn't have to be like as committed as Cyber Helpline like us. It can be anything. Go and volunteer at a B-Sides. Go and volunteer at any of the community events, yeah, and put that on your CV, because it shows that you're serious about community, you're serious about the industry, you care about the industry. But yeah, just network and network and network. And I'm going to say something really controversial, and I'm not going to look at Andy, who's my boss, while I say it. Certifications are great, but they're not everything. And I think you have to be really careful as well about where you go for those certifications. I mean, we're probably all the same. I get 300 easy LinkedIn in my spam on LinkedIn every single month saying, right, pay me £250 and we'll give you a certification, we'll give you your CIS. It's really dangerous because you can probably all tell, like me being near anything to do with touching buttons around cybersecurity would be a really bad idea. But if I've got my CIS from my CV and my LinkedIn, that's what people are seeing. So certifications are important, and it's fine if that's what you want to do, but they're not the be all and end all. And I know plenty of people that are in the industry that have absolutely no certifications and are sitting at CISO at some of the biggest companies in London.
Session for this afternoon. There's 3 or 4 today. The nature is, as you can see, there's some seats here. We've got one moderator. They're the ones that are going to ask the questions, and then the guests are on the lucky side of those questions, and then we're even luckier to hear some incredible kind of tips and shares and expertise. So make some mental notes, maybe use your phone, because we're going to have a little bit of scope for Q&A as well. So let's everyone welcome the moderator and the guest to the stage.
Yeah, please sit. Yeah. So this afternoon is just about hearing from the experts, the knowledge that they have, because these are world experienced people, and unlocking global opportunities in tech. Our focus this afternoon is how to leverage technology for global opportunities. And we understand what's happening. If you've been in tech for a while, you will understand that from the traditional stuff we were using, now moving to the cloud, and then we are trying to see how we can find our space in the cloud. It's now moving to the AI agent, and a lot of people are afraid, like what's going to happen. Losing jobs, Amazon, like laying off people, they want to get some of those robots in, and what is going to happen. So I think it's important that we get this information from experts that are in the field to know whether we are still, there's need for us to still keep on studying or adding more certifications, and what's their plan. So I've got here Ofonime. Ofonime is an expert in managing people and human resources, and then also I've got Donna, who is an expert working with the third sector, working with the public sector. So they will be giving us an insight for us to be able to work with them probably in the next few months or years. I'm not sure years is okay, but I think in the next few months, because we don't know what's going to happen. So quickly, I will just start with Ofonime. Just to ask you this one, what are the biggest challenges companies face in balancing human capital and automation?
Okay, hello everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Definitely.
Okay, I'll just use this then. Hi everyone, good afternoon. Sorry if I repeat the question again.
Yeah. What are the biggest challenges companies face in balancing human capital and automation?
Okay, so I'll say one of the biggest challenges that companies face in balancing automation and human capital, which is people, is resistance to the change, first of all. So you have a lot of people, and there is this notion of, oh my God, I'm sure we've all heard it, AI is here to take our jobs. AI is here. Well, I for one, I'm a human resource professional. They've told me too many times that I don't have any job again, I should go and sit down somewhere. I should move to tech, or I should move to something. And I'm like, why, how? Don't make it make sense. So we've had that fear of AI is here to take our jobs, and because of that, there's a huge resistance from employees. So you find where there's the introduction of automation, people are resistant to change, we don't want to do it, we don't want to do anything that will make our lives simple just because of this fear. There's also the fear of cost. So if you're looking at the paradigm shift, the way the world is changing, and you have to go with the tide, everyone is shifting towards automation, everyone is shifting towards AI. There's a cost with it, and there's also return on investment. So that in itself is also something that companies are scared of. And then, aside from that cost in investing in the tool, there's also the cost of upskilling and reskilling your people. So yes, you have people who work for you. You also have to go back to the drawing board to upskill them or invest in the skills that they have. So continuous learning is also one of the challenges. Yeah.
In my own local sense, when I will be hearing of AI will come and take over your role, I'm always thinking of putting some wrong codes, such that even AI would find it very difficult to correct the code. Right? I don't know about it. I'm not saying you should be doing that. So, Donna, I'll come to you. In your own experience, how do private, public, and third sector organizations in the UK approach technological innovation differently?
So I'm sure you're all aware of these three different parts: the private sector, the public sector, and the third sector. So when we're dealing with the private sector, we're talking about people who are keen. They're the first people to get involved in technology, and they invest in that. So they're really risk takers, and so they're not afraid of technology. The private sector, the public sector, on the other hand, are very cautious because they have to think about ethical concerns, whether there is resources, money available for this new technology, how much is going to cost. And I'm talking about NHS, for instance. You know, they'll be thinking, oh, how are we going to do this? This is going to cost a lot of money. And so that's the problem with the public sector. Also, you also have, like, you know, when you want to change, like schools, like universities now, I was coming up the lift and it was taking forever, and I was going, gosh, with all this technology, this should be. And then one of the staff mentioned that there was the issue of resources and money. So you need investment in doing this, so it takes time. Local authority is also another public sector area. In that, it's very slow because you have to go through the central government and you have to go to the local authorities. You need permission. Bureaucracy becomes the thing that slows innovation and implementation of these tools. And then finally you have the third sector, which is usually non-profit charities, SMEs, social enterprises, and all these. That in itself is, innovation comes from having limited resources, because they often don't have enough money. And so they have, because of that limitation, they know they have to compete in the world where people are fundraising and all that. So they become very creative in the way they go about it. So if you go into the tech sector, you have different ways. People have different ways of using technology to get into that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Often I will just come back to you again on this very important question. With remote and hybrid work becoming the norm, how has workplace culture in the UK tech industry evolved, and what are the best practices for fostering collaboration?
Okay, I'll say workplace, how has workplace evolved with tech? I think even before tech came, or I won't say before tech, but you guys will have my head. I'll say even from the get-go, COVID has shown us that we can work remotely. So the workplace has evolved so much that there is flexibility and autonomous working. So you don't always have to be in the office to get work done. Part of the evolution of the workspace is I don't necessarily have to do 9 to 5 to get my hours in. So we move from the regular 9 to 5 hours clocking in. Maybe if you don't clock in, but you know your regular on detected timing, where I have to be in the office for 8, close at 5. We've moved from that to, oh, you know what, I can actually start my day at 3 p.m. and then close at whatever. So that is part of the evolution of work. Another thing is companies have seen that because of this, we don't necessarily have to employ people physically in locations. There's global working. So for instance, in my work, I do a lot of work with people who sit in the Philippines, in Mexico, and what have you not. And we collaborate, whether you like it or not, and work gets done. So there's a lot of global networking. And Nikki spoke about networking. You get that a lot thanks to the evolution of work. In terms of now putting that together for collaboration, there are too many tools. And I would smile and say thank you to all of you sitting in this room, because we have too many collaborative tools. So there is Zoom, Teams, what have you not. We have the project management tools for real-time working together, where you have Trello and what have you not. Nowadays, I did my onboarding remotely. I didn't get into the office at all. I had a body set up for me, and I haven't seen the person, but we chat as though we know each other from donkey years. Mental health is also extremely important, where you see companies prioritizing on mental health, virtual mental health. Just a few weeks ago in my company, we had, I know that the mental health month, we had a mental health week where we had online yoga sessions. We had, for people who were physically in the office, we had a neck and back body masseuse come to the office for those who were not there. So prioritizing mental health. We have the healthcare 247 employee assisted programs, where you just pick up the phone, speak to someone. You don't necessarily have to speak to your lineman, your manager, whoever. You can just speak to someone on different things. So be it depression, what have you not, prioritizing. So that's how the evolution and the collaborative workplace in UK has come together.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't know how that would cut across a lot of organizations, and if that will also be applicable to SMEs.
So the thing is, everybody now is looking, everybody is moving with the curve. Now the truth is, if you don't catch up with what is, you'll be left behind. And we also we've seen organizations who have relaxed a couple of years, and we know where they are now. We won't mention names, but yeah, the evidence is there. So the thing is, whether you're an SME, you're a startup, you always have to find a way to move with the times. Now, you don't necessarily have to start big. there are little ways you can do it. You can even start by doing employee surveys, check-ins, having stand-up check-ins, say, oh, what's happening today? There's this little drawing I have when I want to do check-in with my teams, and it's actually very, very beautiful. It's a drawing of people positioned in different ways. So someone lying on the floor, someone sitting on the tree. So half of the time we send it to them, say, how are you feeling? Where do you think you are? And someone is just there on the floor. Why are you there? I don't feel like working this week. It is what it is. And the truth is, you take it like that. So you don't necessarily have to, a Diageo or a Guinness is doing this massive thing. No, I'm an SME because I need to make sure that my employees are well taken care of. You will break. So start small. There are different ways to start small to make sure that everyone is carried along.
Thank you so much. As IT people, you just need to listen. You have your KPI. And you know when that comes up, your performance, you now have to pass through the other way, and then this mental health issue will have to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know this one I have for you. Considering the private, the public, and the third sector, what are the biggest barriers preventing seamless collaboration between these sectors in the tech ecosystem?
Yeah. As I said, the private sector is more interested in tech that would generate high revenues for them, and so they take risk and they invest in it. When you look at it, you compare it to the public sector. The local government, for instance, would have to think about the cost of that. And so when they collaborate, it's very difficult. The private sector are always very anxious, to implement things using new technology, but the bureaucracy actually slows things down. So you could see the difference there. Personally, can I just give, because sometimes it's always good to use your personal experience rather than, because all these things you can do chat GPT and you get the answer. sorry, but that's technology for you. Now, I went to an event yesterday to get the Nigerian diaspora to start investing in Nigeria. And we had governors from Bauchi State and Kaduna. I've got their details here, and you're quite happy to come and get the governors to say, I'm sorry, don't tell anybody, but I'm going to give it to you because I know that for you to come here on your Saturday to listen to AI and all that, so you know what it is. It's the implementation and the network. If you don't have the network, as Nikki mentioned to you, yes, you can have all the qualifications and nothing. You have people like, I use Branson, who started his airline thing. You know, he left school very early, and he was passionate about something, and he worked at it, and now he's a billionaire. So all these people, you just need to be in the right place, have confidence in what it is you have, your ability, and put value on it. I have networks I'll give you people today so you can get in. I also have networks in Google. You can go there every quarter, it's free. You're not going to pay for anything. You go there quarter, I'll give you the details, the person to contact, and it will go through. Don't worry, I won't give it to Raymond, you can come to me. Something that you gain experience, you meet people who really would support you, because there are people out there who are willing to give their expertise and also their money and time to you. So
I am motivated, so the next program is we're going to invite a true leader in cybersecurity and managed service innovation with over 25 years of experience in network security, and well is a renowned endpoint protection expert and incident response specialist. He is the founder and CEO of Custodian 360. He has revolutionized the antivirus market with next generation endpoint protection solutions. a visionary in security and mobility. Andy has not only built a pioneering managed service provider, but has also shaped the industry through his extensive expertise in network design, security, and IP telephony, holding multiple professional certifications including CCNP security and 4013 recognition. He is a driving force in advancing cybersecurity standards. Please join me in welcoming this.
Thank you very much. Afternoon, everybody. So, yes, my name's Andy James. I am the founder and CEO of Custodian 360. So we started way back in 2017, and we bootstrapped now to a multi-million pound valuation. Approaching 30 years of industry experience. I've been around for a long time, seen a lot of change. I've sort of prepared a bit of a chat for you today. I'll move across a bit so you can see. I sort of got the feeling from the brief that there was going to be a lot of people in the room who were starting businesses or looking to start businesses. So I just wonder if we can just do a quick show of hands round the room, because I might change what I'm going to say. How many people are sort of looking to start a business now? Okay, so there's a fair few. And how many people are sort of thinking about the cybersecurity industry as somewhere they want to work or even build a business within cybersecurity? Okay, so about the same. Okay, maybe we'll just carry on with what I was going to say. We can skip on. So when we talk about building a business or working, one of the things that we always talk about is security by design. So we can start businesses, we can start doing anything we think of, and it's very easy to focus on getting things done and making things work, and ultimately making money, obviously. If you start to think about security from day one, it becomes a lot easier. If you've got to go back and engineer security into products or solutions or businesses, it becomes difficult to do. So we're going to talk a bit around that. We're going to talk about the future of cyber services. So whether or not you deliver cyber in-house, as a business, whether you purchase that through services. And then we're going to talk a little bit about when it goes wrong, and what happens there. We can go on. So security by design, as we say, start from day one with security in mind. Even if you're setting up something as simple as a Microsoft tenant so that your people that you're going to employ or you have access to email, whether that's a Google environment as well. From day one, if you think about security with that, how you stop people logging into that shouldn't be logging into it, it becomes a lot easier to do. If you think about it in 2 years' time, when you've got, say, 20 people in an organisation, it suddenly becomes quite difficult to re-engineer that security. So from day one, you might only be one person. If you think security from that first day and make your environments as secure as they can be, you will benefit from it. If you're writing code, secure code from day one. To go back and re-engineer a code stack to embed security into it is very difficult. Depending on the type of business that you're thinking of starting, you're undoubtedly going to fall under some type of framework or some type of compliance. Okay, so there will be rules that you have to follow, safeguards that you have to put in place, but ultimately fines that you have to pay if you get it wrong. Okay, so these are really important things to be aware of. In the UK, GDPR is going to cover you one way or another, whether it's EU or non-EU. If you take and store credit card information, then PCI is going to cover you. And there's a fine for every record if you leak it. Okay, so things like that are really important to be aware of from day one. You need to plan to operate inside the frameworks and compliance. As we say, the sooner you start, the easier it is. If you're thinking about taking credit card payments, you should be thinking about how you're going to operate in compliance with PCI regulations. Always look for areas of improvement. So you can test, you can ask people to test. There's lots of people that are aspiring penetration testers. They like the challenge, so they will test platforms for free for you to get experience. Okay? They may be looking for jobs themselves. You can approach them, they will come in and they will test your platform, test your code base, test any applications, tell you if there's areas that need improvement. Okay, so there's a lot of resource. Once you get into more grown-up businesses, you have to pay for it. But in the early days, there's lots of people around. Nicky mentioned B-sides. There's a whole community there of people that want things to test. You know, that's their passion, that's what they do. And if you ask them, they'll come and rattle through a code base for you. If we look to the sort of future of cyber, one of the things you will understand probably around cyber is it moves incredibly quickly. Okay, so when I started nearly 30 years ago, there was next to no cyber. We had pretty simple antivirus and we had software-based firewalls. That was about it. Over the years, there's now a cyber platform for everything you can think of. Different configuration types across multiple platforms. It is a really complex world. It's very hard these days to understand everything because suddenly you're just parachuted into this world and don't really know where to start. It's not going to slow down. It will keep going at the pace that it's going now. It may even accelerate, which is sort of the next point we've got there, which is AI. Okay, so AI will accelerate the rate of attacks, the development of attacks, but it can also accelerate the rate of internal development and what sort of platforms we're building, how we defend against attacks coming in from outside and inside. So AI is one of those areas where at the moment we still need to have a good degree of caution around AI. So we can't just blindly introduce AI into organisations. We don't really understand what it's doing, what users can do with it. It can be a bad thing. At the same time, we have to adapt to AI. It is going to find its way into organisations. I was at an event a few weeks back, which was Cyber UK, which is putting together a team of offensive security engineers that go and compete with other countries. And they were using a lot of AI for searching information. Okay, so it has the ability to outperform Google as a search engine, so that's what they were using it for. But that means it is going to be used within organisations that they work for. So if we look at it, we've got to embrace AI, we've also got to be aware of the challenges of using it. How do we stop our data going into AI models that it shouldn't be in? But how do we allow our teams to have an AI model that they can use for research and analysing data? Because we as a business index petabytes of data every week. That's a huge volume of data for our small team of analysts to get through. So clearly there's a use for AI for us, but we can't put any of that data into a public AI engine. So it's a challenge. But, as I say, AI is here, it is staying, it is good and bad. Service providers, they're your friends. I would say that because I run a service provider. But if you think about it from both angles, as a business, if you go to a service provider to provide you with a service, they've been doing it for quite a while. That's their core business. They're generally going to deliver a good service. If you look at it from the other side, as an engineer, security analyst, working with a service provider is going to expose you to lots more than working within a single business, running their security platforms. You will always see a lot more in a service provider. You will always learn a lot more in a service provider. So you will be faced with a lot more challenges, a lot more platforms, a lot of new solutions, and you will be expected to deal with those, which accelerates that rate of learning. The other thing we have to do, of course, is challenge the norms. So don't accept what people tell you. If you think they're wrong, then you can challenge it. If somebody tells you you should do something in a certain way, you don't always have to believe it. They you know, it might be right, but it doesn't stop you thinking about, is there a better way of doing this, and coming up with it. You don't want to be the person who's always saying there's a better way of doing this, but if you genuinely feel there is a better way, then feel free to voice your opinion on that. So what happens when it goes wrong? So as it mentioned, I still do quite a bit of incident response. So I still see the people and the problems when it has all gone wrong. Businesses are in a pretty bad state. So the first one we got there is compliance fines. So if you let it go really bad, the things that, you know, people like the ICO come knocking on the door, then there can be really big fines involved in this. And again, it depends on sort of the size of the business as to what is really big. You know, a fine of £30,000 for a small organisation is massive. For a big organisation, it's not. So they're not always fair, these sort of compliance fines. You might think, you know, if Big A, when they got hit by Magicards, they ended up with a fine somewhere around 30 million, which they still haven't paid. That's not a lot of money to them. To a smaller organisation, £30,000 fine might put them out of business. So there's no real sort of compassion in these things. You're going to be in trouble. It could end your business if you have to pay fines, things like that. Reputational damage, really important. Okay, if you rely on people to pay you money to deliver something, then you get a reputation for delivering it badly or not doing the things you say you will do, that gets around pretty quickly. Okay, so the whole security industry is incredibly small in reality. A lot of people talk, reputation is key, and that's not just from a business perspective, that's from a personal perspective as well. Okay, that doesn't take long if you're the person who doesn't do things correctly. It doesn't take long for people to find that out. Clearly there's financial loss potential. Okay, so we talked about fines. There's lots of other ways that you can lose money. Okay, so I had to sit down with a CEO of a reasonably large company in Ireland in the week before Christmas. Explained to him the reason that his business had just lost €170,000 was his fault. He clicked the link, he'd given up access to his email account, and that one of his, email chains had been compromised, and the funds had been diverted to a different account week before Christmas. So he wasn't over the moon, but it was his fault. He hadn't taken up the advice previously, and that had allowed something to attack their environment, cause them a lot of hardship. So it can be the end of businesses. Okay, so we've seen this quite a lot in the last couple of years, specifically around sort of ransomware organisations that have gone in. They're really clever now. They look at balance sheets of businesses and say, this is what you can afford to pay, and they stand firm on that now. And what we've seen is a lot of businesses have got to that point, and they just said, you know what, there's no point continuing. So they folded the business and moved on. Okay, not bothered paying the ransom, they've just given up, shut the doors, and said, that's us. So in conclusion, think cyber all the time. Doesn't matter whether it's work, whether you start a business, whether it's your personal life. Okay? Everybody should be thinking cyber first these days. Biggest risk we see generally is drive-by threats. So this is just unlucky. Okay, so it's doing the cyber basics is what you should be doing. At home, we've all got technology in our homes, whether that's just a router that connects to broadband and provides wireless. They have updates, they should be applied. Okay, people can access through that. In business, you've got to keep on top of updates, etc. If you're an engineer and analyst, then that's your job to keep on top of it as well and spot those risks and vulnerabilities. Don't try and do it all yourself. It's very hard to do it all yourself. Lean on other people. As I say, there's lots of skills available. When you're starting out, there's lots of skills available for free. You can make use of. As businesses get a bit further down the road, you've got to pay for it, but it's still available. And don't believe the hype, really. A lot of people will tell you all these fantastic things around the security industry. A lot of it is still basics. Okay, how we prevent unauthorised access to it. We, set up good authentication schemes. We apply patches. We do those basics, and that deals with the majority. The advanced attacks are unlikely to hit the majorities. We do see them, but they're unlikely to hit the majority. The majority will fall victims to the simple stuff. I think we're at the end there, aren't we? So, if there's any questions, more than happy to take those. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the presentation. My name is Anura Ogino. So I have like 3 questions and one for you.
Okay.
So when you were introducing yourself, you said you bootstrapped your way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who is also towing that line, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the strategies that you could advise that I take? That's one. And secondly, as someone who is building a small startup, right, and building a software as a service, what are the, in quotes, affordable tools that can be implemented or integrated as we build our software as a service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the third question is what are the financial mistakes that you could advise that I can evade?
Okay, I'll try to do all 3. So the first one, I mean, bootstrap is hard because there's never money. Okay, so you always feel like you're on the back foot. Okay, somebody's always coming and taking money off you. It's hard to get people to give you money because you've got to sell things to get money. I think the simplest bit of advice, which is as old as the hills, is cash flow is king. Okay, so keep on top of the cash flow, and that makes life easy. Don't spend money you haven't got. Don't put yourself in a worse. It's never going to be easy, but don't make it harder on yourself by spending money you don't need to spend. Okay, so you'll have a pot of money that runs out really quickly. Taxman comes knocking on the door, they don't wait for that money. Okay, fat man doesn't wait for his money. So it's really hard to buy that. When you start employing people, you've got all the pay, national insurance, pensions, etc. It all mounts up really quickly. Okay, so be aware of the sorts of expenses that you're going to have coming up and keep on top of cash flow. Cash flow is the biggest killer of business. I work 15 months ahead on cash flow predictions. So that allows me to sleep at night and relax, not constantly thinking, because one month I pay out 100,000, the next month I don't, but it all evens out over the year. So when you see that bank account start going down, you think it's not a problem because I've got the projections. I know where we're going, where the cash is coming from. So that's the biggest thing to keep on with getting the business off the ground. The second bit we asked about the tooling into the SaaS platform. What sort of SaaS platform?
Mobile application.
Okay. And what sort of resource?
Resources in what time?
So you were saying about tools to support what
Yes,
sorts of
yes. In
things?
terms of like safety, right? Like you mentioned that when you are building a platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to think of security from the get-go. So what kind of structures do we need to put in place in terms of the personnel and then the building of the app itself?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're writing the code, everything to build the platform.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're looking at there is sort of the continuous improvement, continuous development, software life cycle. Yeah. So there's unfortunately with those, you've sort of got to pay for those tools.
Yeah.
That's a problem. The market's becoming smaller because Google just bought Wiz. So that's probably not going to be available to most people. Last week I said use that because that's the best. Now it's Google, maybe not. But there are a few good providers that do that whole sort of cloud security monitoring bits. Okay, so they will tell you when you're out of compliance. They will scan your code as it's uploaded, edited. They tell you if you know anything wrong with that code, if you've got secrets leaking into it, they'll tell you. So you can keep on top of that. But yeah, something that plugs into your environment and tell you you're either in compliance, not compliant, how you fix it, etc. The last bit.
Financial advice.
Oh, crikey, yeah. Financial advice. God. In this, what, generally, or?
No, in terms of as a person bootstrapping, right? Although you already mentioned it in your first question, but I understand that there are bits of things that comes up, and you need to attend to things, and as a CEO, maybe people see that, oh, you really have a lot, you're bootstrapping, you are trying to get the truth out to people and all that. So, combining family, doing all of those things, what are the financial models to put in place to ensure that this one doesn't affect the other one?
I'm probably not the best person because I tend to do too much of one and not enough of the other. It's difficult. It becomes all consuming, and there will be times when you have to give everything to business to get it past the hurdle. And again, I'm not the best person to give the advice, but generally, when you don't have to, that's when you shouldn't. And you should enjoy that family time, as it were, but invest your time there. And then when it does need you, go. The reality is that certainly the first few years of getting the business off the ground is it's all right. It's hard work.
I have an extensive sales background, and I love doing sales pitches. I do so every week. So I don't know whether the people that are coming up are doing it for the first time, so let's give them some very warm energy. What are they going to be pitching about? It could be a business idea, their business itself, some like their overall business, or it could be something career related. So the first person is. Right, so let's welcome Leah Otto Mfon on the importance of data analysis and bridging the gap in AI. Welcome.
Hi. Hello. Yeah, my name is Leo, as I mentioned earlier. This is more like an awareness and to open your mind into the aspects of dealing with elderly and geriatric people in the UK. The importance of data analysis in bridging the gap in AI adoption among the elderly in the UK. I'm a data governance analyst and I work in finance, and it has nothing to do with bridging the gap between, but I'm just passionate about people that are older. And I've seen there are a lot of problems that can come from you not actually dealing with problems early enough. We've got AI solutions that support the elderly or the elderly in the UK in terms of health care, in terms of accountability, and in terms of companionship. But look at the gaps in terms of, let's say, natural language processing. We've got NLPs and people saying this depends on your level of intelligence for you to be able to interact with an AI engine and get that level of value. But think about people coming in, immigrants coming into the UK that do not have some level of English understanding. Let's say they come from a background where they all know about ethic, like where I come from. I'm from Calabar. And then they come into the UK, they have to upskill. They have to learn how to interact with an engine in English. But imagine if it was like you having an audio interaction, speaking with an AI model, and you do not have that capacity and intelligence that the AI is expecting of you. That's a gap. And you can't get value from it. But if you have been able to train models with quality data that accounts for these levels of functions, then it makes the engine to be able to give you a valued response. You know, can I go on the next slide, please? Sorry, I'm talking too much, I guess. The introduction. AI has the potential to improve the lives of elderly in the UK. However, adoption remains low due to various barriers, like I've mentioned one. Data analysis plays a crucial role in addressing these barriers and promoting AI accessibility. The data in the UK currently from the ONS states that 68% aged 70 and over reported not using AI in their daily lives. These are already people that are educated, we might say, and they still find it difficult to adopt AI. But we forget also we've got functional illiteracy or functional literacy in the UK. There are a lot of people that speak English but lack comprehension. If you give them, let's say, your master's thesis for them to read through, they might not get a lot of value from it because you're using lots of technical language that might be difficult for them to be able to boil down. Digital exclusion. Approximately 4.7 million seniors in the UK struggle with basic internet-related activities. Just like, managing their accounts, logging in, Wi-Fi connections, troubleshooting. Our cybersecurity guys, they might be very happy to see how people can do man-in-the-middle attack, isn't it? They just spoof into your Wi-Fi connection. A lot of elderly people, they can get your data, scrape everything, and then you've got people wiping out their pension funds. Or if you've got capabilities where you can speak to an AI engine and be like, oh, is this Wi-Fi secure for me? And then the AI tool is able to run a quick analysis based on the data it has, which might be either through a RAG process, can give you a very valid response. Digital skills. Around 69% of individuals lack sufficient IT skills to access the internet safely. This is according to Rural Services Network 2023 research. The perception of AI. A lot of people are scared, I have elderly people I work with, and they're still scared about using things like ChatGPT, Gemini. We've got all these softwares, all these solutions and products, but they all work on different datas. They have different KPIs, what the company wants to drive. So we have to look at how we can get consolidated data, a kind of master data set that has got all this data that is right for purpose. Let's say you wanted to speak with an AI solution that can understand your natural language. We might be Spanish, Portuguese. And you ask it, how am I feeling today in English? And it gives you a response. Imagine if you ask that in Igbo. I don't know if we've got any Igbos or people from that part of Nigeria here. Or we've got Kenyans or we've got Tanzanians. And you ask them, how are you in maybe your language? I bet you the response might be different depending on the contextuality. So that's why we have to be really careful around context. Because if you now have an engine that has got a consolidated data source, regardless of the context, it's able to give you the same response. Because it can do a quick mash and merge and do a score. And it can say, oh yeah, within 60 to 80, this aligns with the true source of data and the right response is given to you. These statistics just shows us a bit of the challenges faced in adopting AI technologies, emphasizing the need for targeted interventions to bridge the digital divide. How can data analysis bridge this gap? Identify key barriers through data-driven insights, understand behavioral patterns and AI interaction challenges, enhancing AI models with user-centered data, improving AI accessibility through targeted interventions. All of this sound a lot, big things, but I don't like doing presentations bungling them with a lot of information and slides. But I believe we're all educated individuals, and this particular audience can be able to understand most of all these things I've said here. Let's say personalization and AI optimization. What's personalization? We all want to personalize. We've got wallpapers on our phones. We're like, oh, I want to have this. It says something about me, isn't it? We've got things like AI models now that will give you an answer based on data it's scraped up, or agentic AI that is fit for purpose. Literally, it goes through data that is needed for you and gives you a response. We can utilize data to to tailor AI solutions for elderly users. My particular pain point with regards to this is you want to be able to understand historical preservation. Currently, AI processes or workflows or work streams are just tailored towards the future. We are forgetting that the past is what gives you the ability to know what the future entails. So if you do not look out for work streams and data that, that can give you an idea of what's in the past. Let's say, for example, you have someone in your family that knows the law about your family, and there's no one to document that particular story. You could document it in an AI in their language, and then that can be stored, and then you can teach that to your children in the future. That is just a solution that you've provided for the next generation, because an AI model can synthesize a particular language that's not probably a popular language. Then we go into things like formats and speech parameterization. These are like analysis that you could do with Python or whatever solution to understand formats, accents. Now I'm speaking in English, but I wasn't born to speak in English. I was born to speak in my native language, because it's a factor of my environment. But English is the mostly used lingua, isn't it? Everyone understands English. That's why I had to learn it. If not, I won't be able to make a presentation to you guys today. I'll be like, tick, 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 tack, 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 and you'll be like, what the hell is he saying, isn't it? Enhancing AI interfaces based on data-driven usability to studies. How often are we getting data to see how the elderly are using these AI solutions? Most of us have not even adopted AI solutions or used it to the level that we can use it to gain some value. We just use ChatGPT. Meanwhile, there's Gemini, there's Manus. There are lots of other products out there. And all these products have got what they want to solve, what drove them. So the idea here is to ensure that you start thinking about what you can do when we're going into artificial general intelligence stage. When we've got AGI, in that sense of it, we are looking for, AI is literally going to be the government, because the president would not want to do lots of the work, would rely on a model that covers processes, that covers public governance, that understands human interaction, that understands how to give solutions without the bottlenecks that we humans have. Because we humans, there's always kickback, stakeholder management, isn't it? Leveraging predictive analytics to anticipate user needs. Predictive analytics is understanding what the future will be and how to solve it, as the case may be. You are just tailoring this and scoping this towards the elderly, like the geriatric group, 65 to 80 and above. Addressing these privacy and security concerns. Me, I'm into data governance, and it's all about frameworks. It's all about policies and procedures, the roles and responsibilities. Now, what role are you playing? Implementing, you have to implement secure, ethical AI practices, educate elderly users on data protection and AI security measures. Case studies, AI-powered virtual assistants improving elderly independence, smart healthcare monitoring solutions using AI, community-driven AI literacy programs. Ethical concerns in AI-driven decision-making. This is under challenges and future considerations. Need for continuous data monitoring and updates, and the role of policymakers and industry leaders in AI adoption. For the conclusion, data analysis is all about enhancing AI adoption among the elderly. But we have to first gather the right data from the right people. Need for collaborative efforts between tech developers, policymakers, and the elderly community. Encouraging further research and investment in AI accessibility solutions. I'm open for questions to interact with people that have got other things to discuss in this field or in the sense of it. This is all high level, but I'm looking to boil down things if that's possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful presentation, and I want to really thank you for packaging this. But you're solely looking at the elderly, and my question for you would be, why are you putting the specs in the elderly, which, in quotes, is not sustainable, because it might be in the next few years, we can't guarantee 50% of those people still being alive. Why not look at focus the ones that are coming up, that you know that is a bit sustainable for a few decades?
My answer to that is because I've dealt with lots of individuals that say the future is the future. We are all educated. But we're forgetting the fact that without the past, in terms of having the elderly now, we have the opportunity to train data and gather that information. We're at information gathering stage. If you go 20 years down the line, the people that will require to get this data from, like you mentioned, there will be no more. If you said in terms of language preservation, most people give birth to their kids in this country, and their kids do not understand their native language. If you do not bring someone from your home, or your grandfather, or your grandmother, or someone that understood the language, that understands interaction, how does AI work? You have to interact with it. And if you do not have the time to interact with it now, that means down the line, we'll only be looking for people that can speak code. We have to look for people that can also speak normal language. And the AI would love that, because if you want to have a conversation now with an AI engine or a chatbot, you're going to be using prompts. And prompts are around keywords, are around systemic approaches. We need something that you can interact with in a level that is so low level, but you get high level results. That's why I'm focused on the elderly, because my own problem is not because I feel the future will have a problem. AI is already solving the problem of the future. But we need it now to solve or to find the gaps in the past that would intertwine and integrate with the future. If I start breaking this down a lot, I will talk too much. So I don't know if that's a fire alarm. Do we have an exit strategy?
I think we'll just play with it.
Yeah.
You can see they're all smiling. It's not a fight, it's not a war. We are happy to have you here. And today we are diving into some of the biggest, boldest, and most controversial debates in the IT world. Now, our panelists today are some of the sharpest minds in tech. They've come with armed facts, opinions, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks. So our first panelist here, on my extreme right, is one who never sleeps. Not because he doesn't want to, but because hackers don't. He can convince you to hand over your credit card details, your mother's maiden name, and your Netflix password. But don't worry, you won't. Please welcome Onyedikachi, stock analyst, social engineering, SME, and a mentor. Welcome. The second panelist has a worst nightmare, which is a bug that somehow survived automated testing. They break software, so you don't have to. Let's hear it for Aziz Alabi, software automation test engineer. Clap for him! Are you agree? Clap for him! So we have the third one. He has trust issues. But for good reason though. Every mail is suspicious, every link is a trap, every urgent request from the CEO is probably a phishing attempt. If you had $1 for every time you want someone not to click on any shady link, you should have had a private jet by now. His name is Frank, our cybersecurity analyst. The last but not the least panelist is a tech hero. Superhero. Wow. He keeps the bad guys out. He builds firewalls, set up security policies, and roll their eyes when people use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as password. If your data is safe, think it's the one. Welcome Austin Orumese, cybersecurity analyst. So let the clash begin. Now, quantum computers. We have Team A and Team B. Team A, can you wave to the audience, please? Okay. Team B, clap for Team A. He was the first to run away for the fire. Sorry. Team B, can you wave to the audience, please? Okay, so now my question is to Team A. Quantum computers could break traditional encryption, making our current cybersecurity measures obsolete, right?
Yeah.
So if this happens, hackers could steal financial data, government secrets, and personal information in seconds. The rest is on to develop quantum-resistant security before it's too late. Now tell me, do you think quantum computing will make today's cybersecurity obsolete?
I don't think so. I don't
Can
think
you give it? You know how some companies usually rush to launch AI-powered shopping tools before Black Friday? After launch, hackers could exploit vulnerability and expose customer data, proving the cutting corners of IT can be disastrous. Now, what should come first in an IT project? Speed, security, or quality, and why?
Yeah, I think quality should come first in an IT project because when you have to do stuff and also make sure your system is not vulnerable to attack. There are a couple of things that we do. As a software tester, I use doing security testing. I make sure the system is not vulnerable to things like cross-site scripting, working on the application, SQL injection, and a couple other things, And also, when we prioritize quality, our products we have lesser bugs, lesser issues, which we then have secure. Our system will be secure by default. But let's, for instance, we have a poor quality product. We have a lot of security breaches, which should be very expensive to fix. But quality first approach will actually reduce this potential future security cost. And also, let's, for instance, now, a good quality product will make sure with a good quality product, right, in a good place, but without, and again, I used to say one thing, security is like a continuous stuff. It's not something you need to do first, but quality, you need to start from inception. I could do a release now, post-release, I could do security, but post-release, I can't start with quality. It needs to start from inception. So I think, with this case, I think quality should come first, then security follows.
I would disagree with that. Sorry.
Okay.
I would disagree with that, and here's why. If you have a quality product and it's poor in security, you would get thumbs up, you get high ratings on Trustpilot. Customers would always purchase your product, but just in one instance when there's a security failure, when there's a security breach because you didn't implement security by default, just like what Andy said, in every aspect of your architecture, from writing the code to publishing to deployment, everything, you have to be security focused. So if you don't put security at the first point of, or the first thoughts of your project, you are going to actually bring out a bad product that would actually come back and taunt you. And mind you, you said something about cost. When it comes to security, it costs you more to actually come back when you have a security breach. Because let's take, for instance, I know some of us might remember the Equifax hacks of 2017. Now, Equifax had a very good product, very good quality, but they compromised on security at some point. Now, in that case, there was a data breach which cost them billions of pounds. And this data breach, they kept paying these billions of pounds all through the year. Nobody bothered about quality at that point. So I would always stand for security first.
Yeah, but do you know we can have a good quality system, a system that is fully secured, but it's not built for purpose. We can have a system fully secure, but it's not doing what it's expected to be doing. But a good quality product, I think it's top notch.
I'll disagree again, right? So,
I disagree.
yeah, let me come in, just 1 second, let me come in. You said you have a good quality product, right? Like I mentioned Trustpilot, your customers will give you 3/10. Would you rather get a 5/10 rating and then lose your reputation? Because when there's a data breach, you lose your reputation, you're not coming out from that. Reputation takes years to build, very long time to build.
Yeah, I said
once you go down, you're not coming back.
I actually said something about, doing testing and also ensuring quality. when I'm making sure this system is not vulnerable to attack, I'm testing while ensuring quality, making sure I'm prioritizing quality first. It's not that security will not be prioritized, but it should be later. After post-release, we can do security.
Security is built on quality.
On quality?
Yes.
Without quality, there is no security. You cannot build quality on security. You build security on quality. I mean, cybersecurity, but I will still tell you this. You will build security on quality. Without quality, there is no security.
Again, I disagree. So I'll tell you something. Now let's use an example. I'll stick to your time. Let's use an example. Let's take a mobile banking application, right? You can make transfers with your mobile banking application. You can take loan. That's good quality, right? You agree? That's good quality. Now take for instance, there's a data breach where customers' data are actually intercepted, and then they could log into customers' app to make transfers. Now, your quality would not matter at that point. Your customers have lost trust. You lose all your customers.
What if I write the code, and the code is instead of withdrawing 1,000, you're withdrawing 1 million?
If you prioritize quality, we're having a system that is reliable, a system that is scalable, one that is fit for purpose, and that will be secure by default. Honestly,
that's not secure by default. Secure by default.
Definitely because, like I said, we can actually do post-release on security. But imagine having an app now, and after post-release, then I'm now ensuring security. It should start from inception. But security can be post-release because it's a continuous stock. Let me tell you one thing. Security is a continuous stock. I can do like security updates after my release, but I can't do.
Sorry, I was crossing you now. We are during break. As you can see, I'm hungry. So, you don't have fire running for that fire. So we have another question. This is today as well. Will AI take over cybersecurity jobs, or will there always be need for human experts?
So, I will say this: AI cannot take over our job. It can only probably make our job more better. So, let me just give a simple scenario. We always have this our spam mail. Sometimes someone send you a genuine mail, it goes into spam because of AI. That is false positive. I don't know if people that are into cybersecurity, we have false positive, we have true positive. So you still have to have this human involvement in cybersecurity. Yes, I have a system, our sub platform we use to work. So many times you have so many AI satisfy this as safe, but the IP is malicious. The URL is malicious. So if you classify that as safe and the user click on that, there will be so many things going on in that, so many ransomware, so many malicious activity going on in that organization. So we still need that human input. We still need to review it. AI is not perfect. AI cannot take over our job. It can never take over our job. We develop AI. AI is here to stay. They're our children. So they can always do
This is interesting. Do you agree with him? What do you have to say?
I think I'm going to agree with him on that aspect because AI has come to enhance and to make it better, but it cannot necessarily take it away in total because you need, like he said, you need that human input. Obviously, AI cannot do everything by itself. It needs humans to always give you that command to do this and that, and it also has some vulnerability too as well. So you need humans as the key factor in that. So AI is not going to take our jobs away.
I would agree also. But I just want to put in something because this is a very tricky topic, right? Let's remember when robotics came out and it was used for mechanical plants, assembly of cars. We all thought that was the end of mechanical engineers and assemblies, but up till now we still have people working assembly cars. So it's never going to take our jobs. It's just going to make our jobs better. So it's just keep upscaling, especially in cybersecurity. When you bring more AI solutions, you get more specialists coming out, more specialist roles coming out. So I think it's not going to take our jobs.
So I agree too. Now, we have another question for you. Between automation and manual testing, which is more reliable? And how can we ever, can we ever fully replace manual testing?
Good question.
I know you like
I think automation is more reliable because automation is very fast, especially if we are dealing with huge amount of data, and also if we want to run regression testing. And I also like the fact that we can run any automated test anytime, even outside of business hours. And one thing I also like to talk about is, automation eliminates human errors. We are prone to errors, I could have lots of test cases, lots of test scenarios to go with, and maybe 1,000 for instance, and at 50 I missed some steps. It can actually impact the product. But with automation, the consistency is top notch. And again, you ask if you can replace manual testing. I say no. Sometimes we need this human intuition, this human judgment is needed. And also if you want to do exploratory testing, automation testing, any day, anytime. I go with automation.
I would. He said something about automation is top notch and you will not make a mistake. That's totally wrong. And I would point you to the CrowdStrike. I think Nikki Webb, or was it Andy that mentioned about the CrowdStrike blue screen of death that happened just a year ago. So what happened then, if you read the RCA, was they did they relied more on automation updates or automation deployments, pushing their sensor updates straight up. So if they actually focused more on manual testing, by manual testing I mean test the deployments before on test servers, follow due process of change management before you actually implement on production. Even if you're implementing on production, you don't go full scale on critical servers or critical environments. Implement in stages manually first before you actually go full scale on automation.
I disagree because there is no automation without manual. Before I could run any script, I should be able to manually test the application. But you made mention of CrowdStrike. Yeah, they push an automated test updates and they actually impact the system. Are you telling me, even if it's done manually, it won't impact it? A lot of companies push automated updates every day, thousands, millions every day. Microsoft, Google, Netflix push automation testing every day. But because these automated updates are not actually affected, because of the one that are affected, that is impacted, should we rule out the rest? No.
If you
so the test works very fine.
Yeah, I guess if you remember, like our colleague spoke recently. She said a couple of years ago before IT. Now, many years ago, if you remember, there were a lot of failures. Those things have actually reduced now because of everyone follows the proper frameworks and follows the due process right now to actually implement. So if you follow due process, follow manual testing for each environment, go to manual stages, follow the change management process.
I disagree again. I have one question for you. If you manually, one second please, if you the manual testing, when you do stuff manually and we had issues, how are we going to roll back? If we do it automatedly, we can roll back and do an fix. But with manual testing, it will take you months.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. Now, should certifications hold more weight than practical experience in tech roles?
I'm very happy Nikki is with because she's a mentor and I'm going against her. So, yes, experience is needed, but I think certification cannot be kicked out. There's a reason why this big industry leaders are still the likes of Google certification, Microsoft certification, AWS, CompTIA, they are still there in the market. We pay thousands of pounds for them yearly. It's because it's needed. It's because it's acceptable. People recognize it. Many people use it to gain even that experience that we are talking about today. Yes, we know people always say, we need the experience. But yes, certification certify that you know this. Also, there are some certifications that provide a platform for you to even learn, do some hands-on on it, do some practical work on their platform before you are being satisfied that you have it. Even now AI is coming in, we are having so many certification on AI. Okay, what about project management? As a project management, you don't go into an office and tell them, I have experience in this. No, you need that certification. Yes, as a project manager, you need this certification.
Okay, TB, do you have anything to say about that?
I wouldn't agree with him because I wouldn't agree because people would have all the certifications in the world and have no form of knowledge. A whole lot of people could go to a job description, see what is needed, get certifications maybe last week for the job to apply for the job next week or something. So certification, maybe if you're trying to get an entry road, that could help. But if you let's be honest, you're not going to employ someone who has papers and you doesn't have any form of experience, right? So experience is hands-on, is the most important thing.
You've said something quite important, because as an entry-level person, you don't have the experience, you need the certification. When the HR guys are employing you, take for instance, you just leave school and you come into the market, how do you get the experience with that certification?
I like that question, right? So, when it comes to certifications and practical experience, certifications would get you to the door. But what takes you in and keeps you there is your practical experience.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Now, let me finish. You will understand why. So,
thank you very much.
When it comes to,
I'll soon raise the fire alarm again.
I think certification comes to the employer that you have like an up-to-date skills that meets industry standard. So
when it comes to technical roles, I'll focus more on technical roles right now. Would you rather employ someone that has not been battle tested? So when technical roles are more of a battle, let's take for instance a cybersecurity role, you would employ someone that crams and pours in exam. Not everybody.
Thank
you. You kick out certification, that certification is not needed. Not needed.
I'm definitely not.
Yes and yes.
Like I said, right?
Okay, now, let's go to the next one.
Can I just finish?
Yes, so we'll do that after the session. So now, assuming the hospital's network is attacked by ransomware, thereby unlocking the patient's critical records, obviously. The hackers demand payment, right? Now, paying could save lives, we all know, but also fund criminals, encourage future attacks. Should organizations pay ransoms to regain control over their data, or does payment only encourage further criminal activity? This is the final
nice one again. I think a lot of companies in the past, why did they pay? Maybe because they want a quick fix. Maybe you said something about the hospital, our priority is to protect lives. When we have an application that is down and has a long downtime, it can actually impact the hospitals, which then could lead to several people. So we don't want that. So we have to prioritize life. And a lot of people care about their reputation. Companies care about reputations. If you now like, after 1 week, what do you want to do? Do you want to close down the business? You can pay. So when you pay, then you can strengthen your system going forward. But a lot of companies, I don't want to start mentioning names, but yeah.
TB, over to you.
No. You don't pay for. You don't support terrorism. I call these attackers and bad actors terrorists, because when you continue to pay for ransomware, it's like you funding another group. You're funding them to attack other companies. What would happen? What's the worst that could happen when you don't pay? You don't.
So what will happen in a case whereby you try every means possible, but you can't retrieve this data, and this data is vital? What do you do in that case?
I like that you said that. You see, in the first place, you shouldn't be in that position. You should have backups. You should invest in your security instead of.
The question is, there is already an attack. Do you pay or you are not going to pay? So there's already an attack.
Wow. This is one of our plots. Clap for them. Clap behind them. Clap for them. Clap. Okay, this is a very beautiful session. We came, we debated, and you know, we broke a few firewalls in the process, right? That's great. So we thank you, amazing audience, and thank you for not having the transport during the session. Thank you very much as you make your way back to your seats. No questions. Who has questions? Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Titilayo. So I just have a question for the cybersecurity professional today. Okay, so you mentioned that I'm also a cybersecurity professional. I'm not trying to encourage what's not, but then I'm just quite inquisitive, and I'm like, okay, so you mentioned that we're not supposed to pay. So I'm here thinking, what if a company's domain is being held hostage? In this situation, what are they supposed to do? Because they mean, yes, they should be backup, they should be incident response and all of those things. But now, maybe this might just help in my professional career going forward. But now the attack has happened already. It's not like it's maybe a vulnerability or a threat or something. It's happened already. What are they supposed to do?
Okay, in this instance, it's happened. You know, when it happens like this, instead of paying, you should report to security agencies. You know, most of these ransomware, they use encryptions that have decryption tools that are available to most of the security agencies. So first of all, report these things, and you see that most of the time, before you even go pay, these things are already decrypted. So in the case that you actually pay them, let's just say you pay them, what if you don't get your data back? We've seen many cases. I think there was about 20, I read a report recently, it was about 20% of companies don't get their data back even when they pay. So some of the time they might even give you a decryption tool that's corrupted. You won't be able to use it. You can't track the money, it's being paid by crypto. So there's no use paying. If you think about it, there's really no use paying.
So what's the way forward?
Invest so much in your security. Don't focus on quality, focus on security.
Thank you very much.
Well, I just wanted to talk about certifications and experience. So there's this misconception that maybe certifications will get you into the door. I don't want to say it's a misconception, but I would say that the average immigrant or the average person that's immigrated to the UK in the last 2 to 5 years probably immigrated to do a master's. If you want to do project management, for example, your master's degree, there are certain project management elements that you can bring out of your master's degree and can evidence to get you a job. So you do not need a Prince 2. I can sleep and wake up and do a Prince 2. You do not need to do a PMP, for example. I'm just saying that this, because you mentioned you need a project management certificate.
Your master's certification is a certification.
Yeah.
Your master's,
but
he said project management certification.
There's an experience in it. You learn in it. There's the platform for you to gather experience.
So I was only saying it because he specifically said you cannot be a project manager without getting a project management.
But you did something experience in it. You got some experience when you are getting certification. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
Good afternoon. Today, can you go to the intro? Sorry. Thank you. I want to talk about overcoming the work experience challenge in the UK tech industry. Earlier on, when I tried to do the input, I talked about people migrating in the last 2 to 5 years. And currently, there's a very big issue with actually getting work experience in the UK, especially for these migrants. We have cases of people not having UK experience, companies having one thing or the other to say to these people that are trying to apply for jobs, even when some of them are professionals from wherever they immigrated from. So my name is Omon, and today I'll be talking about how to overcome this challenge, as well as talking about Accendia. So I'm the co-founder of Accendia, and one of the things that we're trying to do is helping people get into the tech industry here in the UK, and we're doing this leveraging on mentorship, internship placements to cover the lack of UK work experience, as well as even full-time job placements. And we are currently working on an AI-powered career counseling tool specifically for immigrants. This AI tool called Innovate would specifically help people that are immigrating into the UK with career mentorship, career guidance, also doing a personalized skills audit for them to be able to leverage on the transferable skills, qualifications, and experiences that they are bringing into the UK job market. So there are certain challenges and opportunities. One major challenge will be the lack of local experience, like I said earlier. A lot of people will try to get jobs, and even after you got into the interview, someone will say, we picked someone that had specific UK work experience or someone that currently works within our team. Another challenge will be limited professional networks. A couple of people have come here today to talk about networking, and you know, most immigrants have strong mentality. Someone has already told you from back home that this is the only thing you can do. So people have limited themselves to those things that they've been told. A third thing will be employers' biases. So some people came in as international students, some people came to the UK to cover the health and care sector, and they would require sponsorship to remain in the UK. And there are a lot of employers that would not be able to do that, either due to financial constraints or because maybe they just don't want to. I'll go over to opportunities. UK companies actually need global perspective. I thought this was a lie until I actually got into the tech space here in the UK myself. Even though a lot of companies are scrapping the EI or whatever, there are still companies that are leveraging on that. Even the very big companies are trying to see how they can patch onto this bad press to see how they can get in more foreign skilled workers to come fill certain job roles in their companies. So there is an opportunity there. Another one will be employers value problem solving. If you come from Nigeria, for example, you know that automatically by default you are a problem solver. If you can leverage these skills or leverage this experience within your job, career transition journey, your job search journey, it will be very, very advantageous to you. The last opportunity will be your unique international background actually matters. A lot of people would when they start to apply for jobs, will no longer want to use their Nigerian experience because one guy has told them that no company will look at you if you use your Nigerian experience. But that's actually false because you build up on those experiences and you can then translate how it plays within the industry or the company that you're trying to work for. Strategies to bridge this gap. At Accendia, like I said, we are leveraging on mentorship, we're leveraging on networking opportunities. I'm here today to tell you about what we are doing. That's an example, putting the word out there. We currently have a community of 1,240 people, and we launched on the 2nd of January. And this is to tell you that there are actually people struggling to translate the professional experience they have abroad into the UK standard. So one of the strategies is to focus on in-demand tech areas. The in-demand tech areas actually is up for debate, but I feel like there are a lot of industries or there are a lot of spaces in the UK here where people can transition into. For example, another one would be to network and build visibility. When we speak to community members, we talk to them about going for events. Nikki talked about Eventbrite, and someone else, I think earlier, talked about Eventbrite. That's one of the things that we tell people to do. Go to these events, meet people, and see what you can learn from them that you can use to translate into your CV, your cover letter, and in the long run, leverage on these networking opportunities to either get a job or at least get your foot in the door. Another thing is aligning CVs with the UK market. Very recently, I had to do a skills audit myself, and I was very, very surprised at the standard of the CV that some people were submitting, or the standard of the cover letter. And one of the things that we do within our community is to bring in HR professionals. In the last 3 months, we brought in professionals from Bloomberg, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, and the likes, to teach community members what they would be looking out for in a CV or a cover letter. And lastly, mindset shift. When I started the conversation, I talked about how most immigrants have struggle mentality. We have people within our community that have transitioned straight from being domiciliary care workers into project managers and the likes. And we usually bring these people to come and speak to other immigrants that have thought that maybe they might just do this one for the next 5 years. It's very important that we shift the mindset of people to know that there's an actual gap in the UK job market and they can fill it if they want to. Thank you.
in Transcendia, you talked about you guys help people improve their skills, especially help them build personal projects, right? Now, the truth is that most companies that hire you, there is difference between personal projects and industry projects. They are very different. Your personal project is your personal project. The way you build your personal project, you don't build projects in a team. You just build it for myself. Now, what do you guys do to close that gap so that if I am coming to Transcendia to help me, transition, get a job in the UK market, how will you close that gap so that I will have that? So if I go for interview, my interviewer will not know that, I'm just starting here.
Okay, so I know I did say personal projects, but also one of the things I said we did was, or we do, is to leverage on internship opportunities. So in the last 3 months, we've onboarded 12 corporate partners that are actively providing internship slots for community members. So outside of the personal projects you are doing, you actually have an internship. If you're a project manager, you're working on real-life projects within that organization, and you're adding this to your CV, your portfolio, and building up on that.
Do we have any questions for our panelists?
Yes, so I was going to ask what platform holds your community. You mentioned it with you mentioned WhatsApp and yeah.
So right now,
I said, do you guys have a website? I said, like I said, what gives you the what's it called? What's the word again? So you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
What community holds what platform holds your community?
Yeah, so I have a website, a very shitty WordPress. I built that last year. Very, very terrible. The text and the content even on the WordPress, I've not touched it in the last 4 months. But our platform is hosted on Circle. It's paid. Yes, so we pay on Circle. Circle.so, I think that's what it's called. So that's where we're in our platform.
All right, next question.
Isaac, sorry. Isaac, he said something about okay, what's the boundary? Now we talked about you having people on the platform, and if you miss the platform for one day, you're going to pay, or you're going to miss something.
Yeah.
So how do you put what's the boundary to not get people addicted, like get young people addicted to the platform?
Brilliant question, actually. So the boundary is about the goal. So what's the goal they want to achieve? We want to drive improved learning outcomes, for our learners. That's the goal, right? So as long as they're able to achieve that goal, of course, that's the boundary. So it shouldn't be such that, okay, they are, people, today people actually spend as much as 10 hours on social media, right? That's a low boundary, medium. But with AfriLearn, what we want to do is we want to make you love learning enough to actually achieve your goal. That's the boundary.
What's your target audience?
Our target audience are African students, primary and secondary school. K-12 education, that's primary and secondary school students across Africa.
Thank you. The next question, please.
Hi, Mr. Oliwadonu. So you mentioned something about you creating an app, Pocket Money, and you said you sold it. So my question is very simple. What would you say to someone or a team that is building a startup with the aim of selling? That's number one. And I always believe that a team or someone always building a startup to sell, they always have this idea that you need to have, like, you mentioned community as well. So they need to have like a standard active community before they can pitch their idea or what they've already built to potential investors or potential buyers. So what would you say to like lazy founders that have this very creative idea, but they are in early stage, maybe the first year or second year, but their end goal is just to sell the platform?
All right. Just yesterday, I'm going to put someone on the spot. Yesterday, someone sent me a message. But I personally, right now, I would advise anybody. Okay, let me not say I would advise. My own personal reason, anything I'm doing, I want to sell it. Personally.
That's why I use the word lazy founders.
Right. Just a few days ago, I heard that Google bought Wiz for millions, and the early founders made millions of dollars out of that acquisition. Now,
There are founders or there are accelerators who are open to early stage, idea stage founders. You don't have to have done big numbers. There are those type of investors that are like that. So you can look out for those ones that are open to idea stage. Antler is one of them. You can be at an idea stage in Antler and they'll back you up with £120,000.
Website.
ANTLER, Antler. Antler. They're one of them. You can do that. So there are a couple of these guys as well. But I would never advise anybody to go to an investor at an idea stage. They are going to price you back. You don't have traction. They might like your idea and they want to offer you something really important. The first ever product I built was something in the marketing space. This was in 2019. I sold 50% of that company for $10,000. Very bad investment. And that was because it was an idea stage when I started. 2 years into the business, I realized it was a huge mess. I should have waited till I hit traction to eventually go and meet an investor. So you can look out for those idea guys, but I would advise you not to do that at that early stage.
Okay, we'll take the last question from him, please.
So, first of all, I want to thank our panelists and also offer Mr. Budi to roll out this website for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I have a question. So my question is, what's the biggest challenges? The biggest challenge or the challenges you guys face when you're starting your ideas from scratch or when you're starting afresh? What's the biggest challenge you face when you're starting the UK? And how did you overcome it?
So I learned that because I've been talking to
Okay, so I would say someone, Omar has touched on it and a lot of people have touched on it. The biggest challenge you face is you. You are your biggest challenge. And we talked about some growth hacking. I'll tell you some growth hacking stuff that I've done that I've seen has worked. And it's worked for you if you want to apply for a job. So let me give it to you. I know he says he doesn't like ads, but we can have that conversation after. Why? On that debate, because you can test an idea quickly with as little as £50, running ads and just know, oh, it is working, it's not working, kill it quickly. And that's what the world is doing. You need to be able to test quickly and get results. Now, this is the hack I'll give you and give everyone for free. I have been opportuned to do some cold email, if you know what cold emailing is. You go to a website, you scrape the emails of top people in your industry. So if you want to get a job, now this is me giving you a free source. You go and scrape the emails of recruiters in your industry and you send them email and say, hi, my name is your name. I see that you work in this organization and if you are looking for XYZ person or you are looking for XYZ person, I have this years of experience. Is it okay if I send you my CV? If you send 50 people that email, at least 1 or 2 will say yes. The truth is you only do need 1 yes. You get 1 yes, you send that. Guess what has happened? No matter how many easy apply you apply, it can't be compared to you getting the direct email of a recruiter and the recruiter saying, send me your CV. You will be top of mind. Now that same strategy works if you're building a startup. You send cold email to investors, you send cold email to partners, even if you have a podcast, you send cold email to people you want to interview on your podcast. It's easy to say, it's hard to do. You know why? You are your own limitation. Something in the back of your mind will tell you, how do I get an email? Will they reply me? What do I say? When they reply, you begin to doubt yourself. That's number 1. Number 2, if you are building and you don't I say this, ABP, not ABC. Always be pitching. You're looking for a job, you're building a startup, always be pitching. Tell everybody that is around you, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do. Be top of mind, the opportunity will come. So I feel, for me, the biggest challenge as an immigrant in a new country excuse me, is your mindset, your limitation, and your lack of access to the right community. Not a WhatsApp group, not a Facebook group, but a collection of people that keep pushing you to bring out the best in you. Is the biggest challenge.
Thank you very much. Always be pitching. I had a great time with this group of experts. I hope you did. So thank you for listening to us, and a round of applause for them.
Thank you very much. I'm a data governance professional. I'll be speaking today about the role of data governance in the age of AI. So this session will really be good for people who are not too tech savvy, or people who are already in tech but are thinking of transiting into something else really tech. Something else really tech. Yeah. So in the age of disruption, AI, the AI disruption, what is the role of data and what is the role of data governance? So, currently, it's been projected that by the end of 2025, data consumed, data created, and data used is estimated at 180 zettabytes. To bring that into context, that's about 180 trillion gigabytes of data created and data consumed. But the funny thing about this is about 30% of this data, which are the bedrock of the AI systems we use or everything we do in tech, they are not quality data. That is, they are not fit for purpose. So, in alignment with the theme of the summit, we are considering unlocking global opportunities in tech. So I want to open our eyes into the opportunities that exist within the data governance space. That you don't necessarily need to be in the core tech. If you're not really tech savvy, or you don't know how to code, or you're already tech, you're thinking of transiting into something related to governance around data, around tech, then this is for you. So, like I was saying, bad data that are not fit for purpose, is about 30% of the data that we create. And this leads to about 30% in loss of revenue, time wasted. There's difference between managing data, which is the core work of people like data analysts and others, but ensuring these data are well managed is what we are talking about when we say data governance. We are governing the data. We are building framework, policies to ensure that data is fit for purpose, and to ensure that we are able to derive the we are able to derive the quality or the end point of what we want the data to do for the organization. What is data chaos? Like I've put into perspective the volume of data we are generating in this age, and the percentage of it that is not even fit for purpose. This is where the opportunity lies. The uncontrolled data, the disorganized data, the inaccurate data that we have existing. And how can we bring this into power, into a level that is fit for purpose? So, and how do we reduce the inefficiency? How do we reduce the cost associated with bad data? And ultimately the poor decision that poor data generates. The cost of bad data it's not limited to the financial aspect of it or the regulatory impact of it, but ultimately the missed opportunities. If you are building a system, for instance, an AI system, and the data you're working with is filled with biases. Let me use a funny example. In a remote place in Africa, we don't have women with blonde hair, for instance, a lot in Africa. So the system, the data they've gathered over the years eliminates that minority Africans that have blonde hair. So if we are building a system like an AI system that you want a decision made about that, the decision you're making, one of the critical data you need to use has to do with color of hair. You've not captured over the years, that's little minority. So I'm just bringing into perspective how you can miss out, how opportunities can be missed, even in systems we are building. So what are the roles? What are the opportunities we can key into as people in tech or people aspiring to go into the governance aspect of data? the regulatory aspect, compliance aspect of things. There's this saying that the UK and by extension the Europe at large is big in compliance. US is at the forefront of system building, while Asia, especially China, they are in challenge the status quo. So there are still emerging opportunities that we could tap into in governance, in ensuring that our data is fit for purpose, in ensuring that our system is ethical and free of biases, in ensuring ultimately that the data we use to build our system is of good quality and has integrity. So move to the slide where it has different roles. So what are the different roles that you could consider as somebody who wants to go into data governance, who wants to go into ensuring that data is managed properly? The next one. No, the next one. The next one. So you can consider core data governance roles like data governance analyst or manager, privacy manager or analyst, data stewards. Then there are emerging positions in AI that are not really core tech, like ethics specialists, risk consultants. These don't necessarily need you to build, doesn't need capacity to code necessarily. They still revolve around doctors. Then emerging specialists who like prompt engineer, data fabric, architecture. So the key takeaway in my session is that data or AI is as good as the data that we use to build it, and that is where the opportunity lies for people who want to go into governance. And data governance transforms chaos into advantage, and if we are able to come into this space, like I said, you don't necessarily need to know how to code. It is just about ensuring that people manage data, which is the bedrock or the driver of AI, very well. So that's the Thank you.
Any question?
Question. Okay, so the gentleman, so then I'll have to.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. Hello? Yeah, can you clarify? I know you said something about the data analyst and the data governor. How do their roles really, how does it generate?
So, like I said, managing data is different from ensuring that data is well managed. So governance is ensuring that it's well managed, building frameworks. Let me take this as an example. If you want to capture information about the attendee of this, let's say this is an organization, the attendees of this event, what are the core data we need, and how do we structure it? What format? How do we structure it? Everybody could just write everything they want about themselves. If you just provide a page of paper, write your name, write your age, write all that, and that is a vast unstructured data. But when we bring governance into that space, we are saying, okay, this is what we want, this is how we want this data structured. This is because the end goal is already in mind. If you want to use that to build maybe an AI system for future events like this now, you already are from there. We were talking, the previous panelists were talking about design by defect and all that. So you've already designed the data you are capturing and the decision you want to make. So that is the role of the data analyst. When we're talking about data analysis, we're just talking about managing the data you already have. But the data you want to have, how do you provide to make sure that it's fit for purpose for the decision you want to make?
What can you say about AI policy fitting within roles like mentioned governance and
yes, so we have this evolving role or evolving AI governance is a thing, but I would still classify it under data governance because data drives AI. So when you are building from onset, when you are building your system, you have a framework that you're using to build. It captures the policy, it captures the rules and responsibilities of the players in gathering the data and building your system. Then it captures the process as well. The process. process, roles and responsibility, and the policies.
So it's all fits within governance.
Governance.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are having a great time. So I assure you that coming up is an interesting panel on a topic that could also be more interesting and timely. Thank you for joining us. So we're talking about cyber threat, the future of global tech, strategies for defense and collaboration. So today we are at the intersection of rapid technological development and escalating cyber threats. From critical infrastructure to personal data, no system is immune, and defending against these threats requires not just some advanced technology, but strong collaboration across sectors. So my professionals here in the field, they will help us identify key strategies for defense and collaboration that can help build a safer digital future. So I start with, let me introduce the lady, Titilayo Dosumu. Okay, she's an IT auditor and a cyber GRC professional. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, and we have Jamil Akondre, security engineer and a cyber security consultant. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
And we have Uche Ezekweme, he's a system and data analyst. You're welcome, Uche.
And nice to have you. Good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with the ladies first. They always say so cyber threat is evolving rapidly. Business, government, and regulatory bodies, they must collaborate to strengthen defense. So in your opinion, what does the future of global cyber security governance look like? And how can international cooperation help mitigate these emerging threats?
Okay, I will start by saying cyber threat is not just an individual issue. It is actually a global one, and it is not even something that is restricted to a region alone, or rather a country. So if we are going to have to solve this problem, then we all have to collaborate, regional-wise, country-wise, because it has to do with not just, like I said, not just the individual thing. So if we're going to have to tackle cyber threats as a country, then we need the private companies, we need the government, we need the startups to come together and solve this problem. If we have to solve it as a region, Africa for instance, we have to come together, develop different kinds of frameworks, regulatory bodies, we have to bring these things into place. So another thing where I think we have to do is we also have to collaborate, share intelligence information. Like let's say when there are instances whereby there's an attack or something, governments, there's an attack on, let's say, maybe the Nigerian domain or something, they shouldn't hold to themselves this information. They should be ready to share it with other countries so that we don't have to experience this kind of thing, because like somebody said, we do not want to empower the terrorists who are the attackers, who are the hackers. We don't want to empower them. We want to share this information so that another body or another group of people do not fall prey to this thing. So I would say from this thing, I would say cyber attack, for us to be able to like find a lasting solution to this, we should be able to collaborate. We should all see it as a national issue. We should see it as not just a government issue, but something that even you and I, we have our own part to participate in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But when you said for us to end it, I was like, can it ever end?
It can't end, to be honest. It's because there's something we usually say. We say we need continuous monitoring, so it can never come to an end. But we have to do our own part. We have to make sure that we lock our doors against all of these things. And there's something we call controls. For the cybersecurity professionals here, they know what we call controls. Controls is like trying to lock your door against the thief, the armed robbers, and all of those things. So those are the things you put into place space that makes you not vulnerable, because you don't want to be vulnerable at any point in time. Thank you.
Okay. So, Jamil, I think your question will just buttress her point. What practical steps do you think governments and corporate bodies can take to strengthen this global collaboration?
Thank you so very much. So my name is Jamil, and I'm a cybersecurity consultant. And I mean, when it comes to cyber threats, I think one of the major concerns or places that I've seen that people had issues are what is even cyber threats, right? Most people just think cyber threats, they are not worried about it. For example, people in marketing, for example, I think you are in marketing, for example, right? What does it mean to you if you have been able to work for a year, gather a list of 1,000 customers on your platform, paying customers, right? And someone, maybe a new person just got into the industry and is able to copy the list of all your customers. And the next day, they sent 1,000, they sent each one email to each of those customers and say, Bomi is offering you this service for $100, I will offer you for $50. You can take 50% of your customer overnight. That's what it means. Imagine a researcher, right, building an amazing, has been doing an amazing work on a research for 5 years. He has done his PhD, they have worked on it, and some people just came, copied the whole of the research, published it the next day, and they have a product, right? So these are major issues for different industries. So that is why cyber threat is a very, very big and important part of our ecosystem in technology. Now, when it comes to how can we keep ourselves safe, I mean, I've been working with a lot of, because I work in consultancy, and what that means is that my employer deploy me to customer sites. Today it can be a retailer, tomorrow it can be a bank, it can be anyone pretty much, right? They get a project, they send me to the customer site, I get there, I discuss with their team, evaluate, review, and then start to plan how we can improve. One of the major things that I've seen, which is quite very surprising, is how low the security architecture looks like, right? And I think it's based on the way we kind of work on this part of the world. I think the working ethics on this part is extremely relaxed. In fact, to the extent that if you see the amount of how attackers are able to bypass defense, you'll be surprised that, okay, we have this amazing firewall that we are paying £4 million a year on, and Chinese hackers are bypassing it overnight. It's extremely unbelievable. And it's because these guys are just crazy the way they work, right? They don't, I mean, the way they work, I've never seen anything like that before. And they are extremely dedicated. I think we need to up our game on this part of the world. It's not just about collaboration. We do meetings all the time and all of that, but how much are we putting into it? I've seen so many people, they pay for security to £5 million a year, £10 million a year, and when you review it, only 30% are being used. Detection is extremely low. Like, how can you expect you paying so much money and you have only 90 detection? And these other guys are creating 600 detection rules within the platform, and you have engineers. But people are so relaxed on this part of the world. They say, okay, let's do this project. It will take us 6 months. Come on, guys, you can do these things 1 month, right? But people always want to push things. They say sprint. They say, oh, I'm not feeling too fine. So to be honest, collaboration is great, but I think we need to work very differently. And this is very important for, I mean, people from Africa and Nigerians particularly. We need to even work very differently, right? So you can't work on their own standard. You have to work on your own standard of being very, very effective. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Work ethics, we have to step up work ethics. Yeah, one of it. Okay, so Uche, yeah, as a data analyst, is it possible for organizations to predict these threats using data?
It's quite possible for organizations to predict the threats or any cyber attack because, like she rightly said, the first speaker, if you share intelligence, it's quite important. Like some of the NHS trusts have been attacked previously, so they need to share that experience to other trusts or other public sector organizations for them to learn from them what to do or what not to do. So like in my organization, we roll out tests to the staff, and during those tests we do put some links to see the staff that will click on those links. So when the staff clicks on that link, it leads the staff somewhere else which was not meant to be done. So you have to train the staff the importance of not clicking on any link you receive on email. You need to be sure you verify the the mail, the source of the mail, and the need for you to click on that link before going ahead. But if not, you just report it or maybe report it to the IT team, so they will be the ones to deal with it. So, and also it's quite important to also make use of historic data, because over time, you know, the pattern don't lie, and also it's easier for us to know the trends. It's just like if you're using your mobile bank, so like the high street bank app, if you have, let's say you are used to a transaction of £100, £200, if you want to make a transaction of £500 to £1,000, most of the banks will cancel that transaction, and you see someone calling you to be sure the transaction is from you, just to verify, because they've checked your history and they know you don't make transactions above this limit. So it's also important to have that historic data, because it gives a clear picture of what the person does on a day-to-day basis. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So actually, AI, yeah. So I'll come back to you, Titi. So many organizations, they struggle with lack of talent in cybersecurity and in compliance. You know, this opens doors to attack, and sometimes they get some of these, what do you call it now? They have to pay fine for the breaches. So I would love to ask, how can organizations bridge this gap? And how can aspiring professionals prepare for a career in cyber GRC?
Thank you for that question. I think I would start by saying the moment we all, startups, private organizations, governments, we start seeing cybersecurity as not just something that, okay, because let me just explain this. Like in the accounting sector or something, when we have the accountant, or let me use marketing for instance. For marketers, if you employ a marketer, you almost see your return on investment immediately. Because yes, like Bumi said, okay, I've employed a marketer now, and he or she has done whatever he or she has to do, and within 2 months I'm seeing my return on investment. But that is not the case when it comes to cybersecurity. To be honest, you might, if you're thinking like that, you might never ever see that return on investment. But let's look at it from this approach. What happens, like during the tech class, when they were arguing, okay, somebody was saying when you build a good product, that's the most important thing. The other person was saying, no, you have to put in security in place and all of those things. Now, if you are thinking that, okay, cybersecurity is not going to give me my money back, how do I spend millions of dollars in order to secure this thing, and I'm never going to see my money? But let me tell you, when there is a cybersecurity breach, you will end up paying triple of that amount you refuse to pay. When they hold you at ransom, your business might even come to an end. You would lose your reputational damage. You might never get your customers back. So, do you want to risk all of those things? Do you want to spend 1,000 naira now to secure your house, or you would rather spend 100,000 naira in future? I think that's one thing we should all think about. So, if you're here and you're thinking, oh, everybody here is doing cybersecurity or something, the technical, professionals are never enough. As long as we have something to go on the web, as long as we all have a smartphone, as long as we all are going on the web, there will always be a reason for us to protect our cyberspace, for us to protect anything. And in as much as there is always a need for that, there will always be a need for a cyber professional. So I don't want you to start thinking that, oh no, I don't want to go into the cyber security space or something. No, there will always be a need for you. And to your question on how people think they can actually go into it, if you have a business now, why not just train some of your professionals? Train them. I know you're going to invest in them, but why not just train them, because they know the processes already. Yes. You can train them in this aspect, you can upskill them, you can make them take courses and all of those things, and they start from so that way you are able to save at least some amount of money. And if you think, okay, there's nobody you think that can do it, Why not? That's why we have people here that can actually go into the cyberspace. And like everybody has mentioned, we know, yes, I would say when I started cybersecurity in the UK, I do not really have that experience or anything, but then you can actually do volunteering. Like everybody has said, you can do volunteering, you can do some of these things. Yes, certifications help, but then I'm not one of those people that is actually high on certification. I'm not going to lie about it. But you can do volunteering, you can do different things in order to upskill yourself. You can get yourself into different courses. You can have hands-on experience or something, get mentorship like Ascendia and all of these things. That way you're able to build yourself, you're able to get yourself prepared for what's coming ahead. So I'll just go back by saying that everybody should nobody should ever think, oh, this thing is actually coming to an end, or there wouldn't be a reason for, there wouldn't be a demand. There will always be a demand for cybersecurity professionals. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And Jamil, so let's talk about international students doing MSc. How can they use their projects to launch into it?
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's a very good question as well, because I think since like 5 years ago, I've been doing training for international students in the UK. And that's because when I finished my master's in 2020, before I finished, I had like 3 offers waiting for me there. And I saw that a lot of people are struggling, and I decided to do training. At first, I was just doing it for free to my colleagues. I did like free for my 2 friends, and they got a job. And I thought, well, maybe I can start charging for this. So I started to charge people for it, and then I started to do more. At some point, I actually stopped, and then I started to do it again. But one of the ways that you can actually gain massive experience in cybersecurity to get a job, if you're an international student, is to use your master's project to do the to strategize on the kind of job you want to do. I see a lot of people make mistakes. They are doing their masters, they want to get a job in cybersecurity, but their master's project is not targeted against the work they want to get. You see them, they will do a very flashy project. They can do something IoT, something. They can do Internet of Things, topics that there are not jobs for it. You shouldn't do that. Make sure that your project topic is something that can get you a job. Do something that you know. In fact, what I tell you is that look for the kind of jobs that you want to do, right? Look on LinkedIn for the kind of jobs that you want to do. And then from those kind of jobs, do a project topic based on it. Because this is like for 2-3 months, you will write a 10,000 words content on it. You will study for about, I don't know, I can't remember the hours, but for like 2 months, you keep studying on that, and you will read and you write and you will present. So it's a good opportunity for you to learn as much as you can on that specific field, so that when you go for an interview on that particular, job that you're trying to get, you'll be able to talk about a lot of things. But most people, you see them doing security of a driverless car. You're probably not going to get a job in driverless car in the UK, right? Why are you doing a project on that? Why are you doing projects on IoT? Even companies that can recruit you for IoT, like Jaguar Land Rover and the rest of them, they will ask for security clearance. You don't have a security clearance. Try to do something simple. You can do something like SOC analyst, GRC, for example. Do a project on GRC. Do a project on SOC. Those are the jobs that are out there. Learn as much as you can, and when you go for interview, you almost know everything they're going to ask, because you've been studying for the past 3 months. You've got, 10,000 words of content. I think that's a very good way for you to, use your project topic to gain experience and to gain a lot of knowledge.
Thank you very much for that. That's very enriching, I must say. Okay, Uche, so these new technologies that we are talking about to use to combat this threat, what can you say is the impact and the difficulties?
So for the new, thank you for the question. So for the new technologies, we know from the speakers that we've had today, they mentioned how private sector reacts and how public sector reacts. So private sectors are more proactive, unlike the private public sector. They react to trends and what's happening. So we know the introduction of AI, automation, most of the private sectors are the ones on the forefront sharing those notions and those moves. I was in the public sector trying to catch up. So it's quite important we have all these new ideas, these new technologies, but we still need to understand there is need for us to have data governance, which the last one of the speakers has said about, you need to show the usage of those data and how it's being used, and they're used in an ethical manner. So we also need to work in partnership because there are no funds anywhere. So if you collaborate with businesses, those, let's say startups, those NGOs or charitable organizations that want to work in partnership with either the private sector or the public sector, it will go a long way to help. Like if you have a system you use, it will be easier to broaden that system because you've had experience from the other business owners or the other business leaders, the feedback on those systems and the importance of using those systems to combat the issues the other business or your business is facing. So I think that would be the best way. So you have to put in mind your data governance, the ethical use, working in partnership, and also funds, limitations to funds can also be reduced. So when you work in partnership, you combat the limitations you have with respect to funding.
Thank you very much. Partnership as the key in your response. Okay, I don't know if anyone has any questions for this gentleman and lady. Okay, so I think that's all we have time for today. Thanks very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
This could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose. But when you talk to me, give me the impression that I won't scratch your surface. And I could walk for days, searching for your praise. But is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to win your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how. For days, searching for your praise. But is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to win your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how. Make you mine, make you mine. Baby, show me how. Make you mine, make you mine. Baby, show me how.
We have the privilege of recognizing an outstanding individual who has made significant contributions to both academia and the industry in the field of cybersecurity. His name is Jude Osamo. Jude is not a distinguished lecturer and researcher, shaping the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. but also a dedicated industry expert, bridging the gap between theory and real-world application. He has a profound impact on advancing cybersecurity knowledge, innovation, and best practices. For his dedication and contribution to the field, we are honored to present this award to Jude. Please join me in congratulating him.
This could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose. But when you talk to me, give me the impression that
on behalf of Jude Osamo, I say thank you very much for this great award.
Yeah, the second person is Luther. We are proud to recognize an organization that is making a global impact by empowering professionals and aspiring talent through expert training, coaching, and consulting. Luther is a leading professional training and coaching company specializing in global talent visa, coaching, admission and educational consulting, and skills training and development services. Through their dedication, they have helped countless individuals unlocking new opportunities, navigate global career pathways, and achieve their full potentials. For their commitment to excellence, professional growth, and global talent empowerment, we are honored to present this award to Luther. Please join me in celebrating their remarkable contributions. Luther, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to say this is a very big one for us. Glory to God for this special occasion. I want to also thank Ariel Tech, like we are so amazed at all sorts of things. I don't joke with opportunities like this as well. I believe that God has used Ariel Tech to make us get all the things we got today, the opportunities, networking opportunities, information, and all of that. So it's a big one for us, and I want to say that more of this should continue. I will believe that this information and networking opportunities and networks we've actually gotten from here is going to take us another level. For us as well, this award is also like a very big, boost for us as well. That what we are doing, we're being recognized, and we need to keep putting more effort. So I want to say thank you, everyone, for recognizing us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Paris Tech for organizing this beautiful event. Thank you so much.
So that was an exciting time too. To express gratitude and also just to recognise the organiser of the event that's contributed to us connecting more and putting people out there with their respective businesses and existing businesses as well. So let's welcome Raymond to the stage.
Thank you guys. You guys have made my day. I'm so impressed and I'm so happy for coming out, honoring me, and coming out for this event. Unlocking global opportunities to take Innovate and connect was a big success, and you guys will agree with me. Please, can we support Thank you. So, first of all, I just want to say a very big thank you to all the speakers, to all the presenters, not forgetting the keynote speakers, when they're gone. Just want to use this opportunity to appreciate you for coming. Thank you guys for all coming out. I know you guys, some of you come from quite a far location, Newcastle, Portsmouth, Liverpool. Thank you so much for coming out here. I have some people that I really want to recognize, especially the supporters. Not forgetting the University of Westminster for giving us the opportunity to use this hall. And Yolre, the Nakim Academy. Thank you, Iskanet. Thank you, Iskanet, for all your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Deep Health Technology and Secure Tech Juries. Secure Tech Juries, thank you. Thank you for your support. I just want to bring this out because this is very, very important. This event was not just about discussion. The event was not just about the panel session, even though that is more aspects of it. This is all about taking action. I'm happy that we've all come together, we've all connected, we've all built relevant connection on LinkedIn, getting each other's social media pages and all that. It's about making meaningful connection, like I said. Whether you're starting your journey in tech, or you're already building a startup, or you're into business, look at this event as an opportunity to work and connect with people. We are not leaving, there's still going to be room for networking, so as long as you can stay, maybe 8 o'clock or 9, you're free. Build the connection because it's really, really important. Stay connected, keep learning because you cannot do away with learning. Continuous learning is really, really important. So keep updating yourself and don't be afraid to take the next big step. Don't be afraid to start that business. Don't be afraid to launch your career in tech. Don't be afraid to start that startup. It's really, really important. Keep going and make sure that you make it big. I like to say this because it's really important. Let's be the generation that we help each other. Let's not be the generation that is like they don't like each other, they don't love each other, don't like that. Let's support each other and have it on share with your brother, share with your sister. Just like Donna came in and almost scattered the other with information and lots of resources that she was sharing. So please, let's try as much as possible to help each other, support each other, because this is the main call for this thing, networking. And I'll bring my brother because we have, because we can talk about the webinar.
Okay. Yeah. So, on the back of this event, we are going to do a webinar plus some business networking on the 19th of April, which we're going to send information out, and it will revolve around some interesting topics. There's one topic that no one covered today, which is Google Business. So I'm a Google Business expert, so I'm passionate about that. I love sharing knowledge on it. All of you use Google to get it, so we can cover that. Vanessa here in the maroon, is it? What colour is that? Okay. This is my team partner for Blackwell Marketing. She does adverts, mixed in with development, very rich thinking, and we also do some new stuff which not everyone does, which is content marketing. Then we're going to do some social media, mixed in with business coaching, how to combine the two, and also Awesome Rain here is going to cover cybersecurity for small businesses. But we don't want it to be only about us. We want to add value, but also have a session where all of you share your businesses or your work or something relevant. And then I want to go away and think about how I can go through my network to send the right people, the right contacts to those people at the time. So come to it, let's connect, we'll have a great time. And The other last thing is, it makes sense to create and stay connected. Obviously, we'll do that through socials, because, you know, Raymond's first event is maybe benefit from some love, and we've bounced that back in many different ways. So my idea was to create a WhatsApp group, an authentic one, where it all revolves around all of you staying connected with us, that you tell us what you're up to, so it gives me and Ray time to go through our networks, to brainstorm things. Okay, let me contact this person, and just keep us updated, especially if you've got your own events as well. And then in London or wherever. Yeah, so.
Yes, if you have your own event, feel free to
there's the QR code
and connect with us. So this is the QR code that you can scan for the business webinar. Like you said, you're invited. Please do well to scan and connect with us. Like we said, this is not just about us, it's also about you, because if you have a big event, you can invite us and we will be happy to come around. Right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, on that note, I think we'll continue. Enjoying ourselves, listening to music. If you have a business card, feel free to share, give it out to people. Once again, thank you for being a part of unlocking global opportunities in tech. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And yeah, we have a new page
in this country. Because if I should try it, they probably call the Irish. Anyway, the groups of the matter was quite impressive to see.
Take a copy of Raymond's socials.
Yeah, so this is the page, the new page for tech chats and networking. So it's just like every other big company started. So I think we are launching this today. Please follow the page so that if we have something like this next time, you'll be aware. So please just follow the page.
That's it. Well, thank you all for coming. Remember, you're amazing. Whatever is ahead for the next month is going to be amazing.
You're amazing. And lastly, can we just have a group photo? I know a lot of people have gone. Let's just have it.
Yes.
Thank you.
For days, searching for your praise, but is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to learn your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how. Make you mine. Baby, show me.